Mohi Sharifi has felt unable to speak up till now, but court hearings are over and she's demanding answers. She says when WorkSafe finally agreed to investigate their case, it assured her and her husband, Sia Musafiri, it knew what it was doing. But instead, what happened reflects an internal review exposed by RNZ that found multiple serious shortcomings with investigations.
They didn't care enough. My question to any of these people, to all of these people, is that what if it was your own kids? Would you have been happy? Would you have been satisfied? Would this be justice to you if it was your kids? Gone just for nothing?
On holiday for the first time with their 2-month-old son at Easter 2018, travelling south on the desert road, the family's Toyota got stuck between two 9-axle double-tanker trucks.
I felt we were just over the moon, that we just felt so complete, so happy.
It was a fine, dry day. On a straight stretch 30 kilometres south of Turangi, cars in front slowed and the truck behind hit them at 79 kilometres an hour. Mohi Sharifi regained consciousness 10 days later with brain damage and other injuries. The two boys were killed.
This is 19. He was 4.5 years old and so excited to start school soon. And this is Radine, just an angel, just an angel.
The police investigated. Eventually, 71-year-old John Barber was convicted of careless driving, causing death, working excess hours and falsifying his logbook. He was sentenced to 3 months community detention, 150 hours of community work and disqualified from driving for 12 months. The second trucker was convicted of working excess hours and falsifying his logbook. Both worked for Dines Transport of Tapanui. Dines was convicted of 2 logbook offences and voluntarily paid the family $32,000 in reparation. Dines declined to talk to RNZ for this story, but the family wanted to know who was looking into the bigger picture and was shocked to discover the health and safety watchdog was not.
So we initially approached WorkSafe and asked for the investigation, and when we did, we asked for random drivers to be actually investigated, and not just around the time of the crash, but actually random times in the previous maybe year or something, to actually do a proper investigation. What they have looked into is just these 2 drivers and just a week before the crash.
WorkSafe told the family the police were better resourced to investigate. Finally, though, almost 10 months after the crash and just 10 weeks shy of a deadline in law to decide whether to prosecute or not, WorkSafe began investigating. At this stage, it briefly interviewed the 2 drivers for the first time.
A lot of the time was lost because they never started that investigation, and by the time we contacted them, they had about 2.5 months left, and within that 2.5 months, they just wanted to put something together to say that the investigation was done, and that's what we've concluded. But that was not enough. It was just so limited and so narrow-visioned that, well, even within that narrow vision report, there were so many facts that they could take forward, but they didn't.
Those facts included Dines Transport having several prior convictions for having fatigued drivers and logbook offences, the 2 desert road truckers exceeding their work hours 2/3 of the time in the week before the crash, and neither of the 2 cameras in Barber's truck working, with the cab cam appearing to have been taped over. WorkSafe decided not to prosecute, but the coroner said it should and gave the agency extra time to reconsider. In January this year, for a second and final time, WorkSafe said no. Mohi Sharifi is sad and angry and feels terribly let down.
I'm not taking lightly their efforts, the police, but what they were able to do was not enough. It was not enough to bring up the whole truth of this crash, all facts about this crash, and actually fight for what was the real case.
Sia Musafiri says he has no trust left in the justice system. The family's lawyer, Mark Hammond, says it's the saddest case he has seen and he's called for better resourcing. Boy's mother does not accept that it's too late for change.
I'd like to just stop you there. I don't understand too late. These drivers are out there doing the same same culture of driving. They're driving fatigued, they're driving illegal hours, they're not taking their rests, and they're out there doing it. So every day there could be a tragedy like this happening, and WorkSafe is well aware of it.
WorkSafe told the coroner its investigation was full and thorough. It made 3 recommendations, including encouraging emergency auto braking on trucks. Mohi Sharifi has a PhD in agricultural research, but the crash damaged her memory, ruining her career. Mo te hōtaka o te ata, ko Phil Pennington aho.